Formula One is a series that loves destroying driver career. Everyone gets impaired, everyone gets exposed, and somehow all of that become Red Bull inspiration to do the same thing to their own team. Red Bull is not a team with a championship vision, but as the fire worker. No wonders they have two bulls on the logo: Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, Sergio Perez, Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, and next Isaac Hadjar. They all share the most stressful job on the earth, is being Max Verstappen teammate. Even if Lewis Hamilton were asked whether he want to join Red Bull or not, I'm pretty sure he rather dance with his nephew. In this video, I'm not going to talk much about Max. I'm going to summarize how miserable life has been as Verstappen's teammate.
Look at me eyes! Not as best as I am! You fucking are! Donkey!
I refer them as a Dutch slaver. Pierre Gasly was the opening actor of the second seat curse. Mid-2018, he was announced as the Red Bull Racing driver. Just look at how freaking innocent he was about the future. His performance and attitude at Toro Rosso were solid. As usual, the horn and the helmet did everything they could to pull another human into Red Bull. After the high tensions between Ricciardo and Verstappen in 2018, Red Bull need a new slave for Verstappen, at least still have the Constructor Championship. The problem was, even before the 2019 season start, Gasly was already stressing Red Bull out mentally. He crashed during pre-season testing in Barcelona, destroyed the chassis, spare parts were limited, and his car development got compromised. Just like Isaac Hadjar recently, the World War III began. Helmets say this should never happen. Starting a season already makes you want to resign. Ricciardo Grand Prix, Gasly scored 0 points, while his boss stood on the podium. Leclerc Grand Prix, while Mercedes Honda Niki Lauda, Gasly received a love later, even with a good finish and fastest lap, but the two lords were still ungrateful. His mentality collapsed further in Canada. Even Hamilton couldn't overtake Vettel, and he still finished within a 1 second gap. But Gasly, he got lapped by his own boss. The peak of suffering came at the Red Bull home race. Verstappen won with a legendary comeback. Gasly finished P7 and got lapped again. Same team but a different structure of organization. One leading, the other rebuilding. Gasly asked for a more stable car, but Red Bull didn't care. If the car is fast for Max, then the problem must be you. Gasly survived only 12 races at Red Bull that season. Everything goes wrong. Alexander Albon was the opposite of the first slave. The Thai-British driver finished P5 on his first debut, despite a penalty at the Belgian Grand Prix. Horn and helmet went from the panic mode to feeling like the sexiest creature. Albon was calm, polite, and brave on overtake. Basically, he's a Mr. Bean in Formula One. Everything went fine until a few incidents at Neymar and Helmut Grand Prix. From good performance to bad romance, those two moments destroy Albon's career. From the P2 straight to the 0 point, while Max became the focal point. Albon mentally state collapsed. Pierre Gasly is finished on the P2. The horn and helmet was stressed too. Albon repeatedly said the front end was too sharp. One corner and the car would snap and spin. But again, the car didn't switch to anyone else, yet it was perfect for Verstappen. Red Bull trusts Max, but Albon got blamed. Performance kept dropping. And the 2020 Tuscany Grand Prix, Albon was scored on the podium, but the management still wasn't satisfied. His qualifying gap to Max was too large. At the 2020 Eiffel Grand Prix, the mental pressure exploded into the radio message.
They raced me so hard.
The authentic expression before seeing Lily. Many people say humans is lack of empathy, and it's right. The two races in the last season, damage and the pressure. Helmet completely lost his patience, and Albon was dropped during his winter break. Everything goes wrong again.
Sergio! Checo!
Red Bull signed a driver outside their team, or maybe Checo brought extra money to pay for the penalty fine. He became known as the King of Street, Minister of Defense, and Title Whisperer, and Jos Verstappen enemy. From 2021 to 2023 was Checo's golden era. Red Bull finally felt the benefit of a proper second driver again. His performance in Baku and Abu Dhabi showed the real skill. Many people say Checo saved Max in Abu Dhabi.
Checo is a legend.
But honestly, I don't think the impact was that huge. He tried to slow Hamilton down, but in the end, Max's car still lost to that alien machine. Horner and his circle like this, but not for this man. In 2022, Checo showed an insane skill set. Won in Monaco and Singapore earned him the King of Street title. But that's exactly when Josh started questioning things. Was Red Bull prioritizing his son or the Mexican driver? Even winning 2 races was wrong. Brazil 2022, Checo need points for the championship, but Max still overtook him despite repeatedly asking for a swap.
Don't worry about the DRS, Max. Let Checo through. Let Checo through. Max, let Checo through, please.
Tension exploded. Checo complained publicly. Max seemed to forget all the help. Checo finished P3 on the last standing. It's simple, but liked by Jos Verstappen. 2023 was a Red Bull peak. Checo P2 in the standing, involved on the Constructor Champion, but still wrong again. 2 wins with a car capable of fighting Max. After Miami Grand Prix, his performance collapsed. Rumors appeared about sabotage due to the massive performance gap. Helmut made harsh comment that no advisor should ever say. Borderline discriminatory. Horner at the pressure. At this point, Checo was clearly mentally exhausted. My feelings at that moment, it was like the team's strategy to push him out. Once again, Checo was wrong. Then came to 2024, a year that was relieving, painful, and humiliating. Checo repeatedly said the car was undrivable. Early season performance improved, then collapsed again. Red Bull didn't care, even though Horner looked slightly concerned about Checo's mental state. In June 2024, his contract was extended, supposedly to calm him down and let him focus the race. I think it was a Batman trap, psychologically relieving, but it increased the chance of mistake. And sure enough, after the mid-season, his performance crashed like a cryptocurrency in the Barry situation, a new nickname, Destructor of the Standing. Checo cost Red Bull millions pounds in his car damage. Monaco 2024 was a proof of everything. All the greatness erased by one mistake. At the end of the season, Checo was officially dropped. It's about the Checo versus Max versus Josh versus Helmut and versus Horner. Ironically, Helmut still paid for Checo's psychologist. The lesson is simple. Never race under Max and never race above Max. Everything goes wrong again. Liam Lawson, in my opinion, was a borderline societal decision by Red Bull. In Formula 1, the pattern is clear. If you got replaced for a free practice session, your seat is either cursed or you somehow survive. Checo's seat gambled like a Royal Rumble. Lawson looked decent at Racing Bull, and eventually, his expression during the livery launch and Australian JV photoshoot are said everything. To Horner, Lawson was a future investment. To Helmut, he was a brave kid. To the Red Bull car, he lacked of skill. Lawson was adaptive and never complained about the setup. Ironically, that's exactly why he kept finished at the back in his first 2 races. Ricardo Grand Prix, he started P18 and finished P15. Total of said new driver need a type, but not at Red Bull anymore. Lawson was pushed brutally and threatened 3 races or out. The second race was his last in Red Bull. In Zhou Guanyu Grand Prix, he started P20 and finished P12. For me, that was a good improvement, but for Red Bull, they only loved the instant result. Before the 3rd races, he was sent back to VCARB. Even Verstappen disagreed. Lawson kept saying he needed a type, but as second driver, time doesn't exist. Everything goes wrong again. Yuki Tsunoda once said his dream was
open the restaurant.
And honestly, that dream slowly makes more sense in every year. Yuki replaced Lawson for the rest of the season. Yuki said he was ready and loved the Red Bull challenge and drove like a man fighting for employment. His performance wasn't that bad. Baku 2025, he held Norris with a much calmer mindset. No more screaming on the radio. Without Honda backing him in the future, you never save in Red Bull that flirting with the Ford. In Formula 1, connection are everything. Yuki already knew his seat would be taken, yet he drove like a kamikaze. But skill alone is meaningless without a political fit. Yuki eventually realized opening a restaurant was a saver, and sure enough, in 2026 he was replaced by Ash Hajar. I hope the restaurant success. Everything goes wrong in Red Bull. Will Isaac Hadjar become the next Dutch slaver? Honestly, in the Red Bull current condition, Hadjar might be lucky. The environment is more civilized now. The two lords on the Red Bull logo are gone but living Makis, who might actually encourage driver exploration despite his burning millions in testing. Hadjar has a crazy skill set. His 2025 rookie season already show podium, clean overtake, smooth driving style. He once said he might not beat Max Verstappen, but at least the result won't be a shame. I think Hadjar has a real chance to avoid the curse of previous second driver. His performance could be significantly better. So what do you think? Will Hadjar become the next Checo, Ricciardo, or the sixth sacrifice second driver in 2026? See you guys.